So right now I'm in Sweden, and I just finished Desolation Angels, the whole thing this time, not just the first book. So I'm gonna do a book review, even though I already done one on Desolation Angels. I'm gonna talk like actually I'm just gonna say like the first thing that pops into mind, like because I literally just finished. Like I was eating lunch at a cafe. I usually don't because that's really expensive, but I'm in Sweden, so I had to eat lunch, so I ate lunch at a cafe, finished this book, and literally just ran right back to the hotel because what time is it? I have to check out in 15 minutes, so I have no time. But basically, I read quite a lot, um, like in the last days because so the thing is when you like I as I talked about, it's really I was really bored with it, and I spent a long time. Also, I was really busy. I've been really busy the last couple of weeks, so usually I kind of like finishing books super fast, but this book felt really weird because there's like different parts, especially the second part called Passing Through, because it's like book two, Passing Through, and it's like part one, passing through Mexico, part two, through New York, part three, passing through Tangiers, France, and London, part four, passing through America again. So it kind of felt like more like it had no story. Maybe that's because I've been slacking on reading Kerouac lately, so I kind of forgotten how he writes, and this spontaneous prose doesn't really have necessarily this. That's really interesting. That's like kind of like how like a lot of Japanese modern Japanese literature, short stories, Japanese short stories. I went to a speech about Japanese short stories where they talked about that. That was really interesting because they were like, oh yeah, they talk they kind of write it in a way that's in America and like Europe and stuff, like you weigh every single word in a short story and like make sure like this it has to be the perfect one. Like this story, like everything counts, everything's like a symbol, everything is like it's put there for a reason. While Japanese short stories, and they have like different types of like short story, short story, long short story, medium short story, and so like even the length is like very different, and the fact that it's like written like kind of like an excerpt, and something a lot of Japanese writers also do is they write several short stories and publish them in like newspapers or something, and then they like combine them into a book later on, or at least I know one did that. And that really reminds me of how Kerouac writes, because he's also like spontaneous prose, just like whatever is happening right now. I think I really should actually. That would be really cool to do a proper essay on like Kerouac or like Big Generation versus like Japanese modern literature. But wow, I think I really like literature. Maybe I really should study this because like even just saying like, oh, maybe I should do like a proper like write an essay or a video essay on that. It's like kind of a sign. So maybe I do like literature. I don't know, because lately I haven't been. I spent a really long time on reading this book because I've been really busy. Like as I mean, I'm so busy. I'm even in Sweden right now, so that's kind of busy. Oh my god, I have to leave. But basically, my thoughts on this was, god damn, I want to read. When I finished, I was like, I want to read more Kerouac. I kind of didn't like the feel of like moving different places, like just short snippets of their lives, excerpts. Like it was kind of nice, but at the same time, like this is a sad book. Like again, it's like the opposite of On the Road. While On the Road just wants you to live life, and it's just like so exciting, and everything is just like wow. And this book is kind of the opposite, where it's just like, oh, life sucks, man, because he describes it really well, how much it sucks. Also, I really like and I really hate the fact that this book really often reads like a poem, and that can be really like the start was the worst. I talked about that in my Desolation Angels video. But I think even after it gets a bit better, but still there's a lot of parts that reads like a poem, and sometimes that's really cool. Sometimes it's kind of kind of difficult to read, especially because it's like I'm dumb, and also like even if I wasn't dumb, like there's so many just references to everything they love. You know, I have to read their favorites because like there's some people they keep bringing up, like Blake for example, but that's like a big one, like with Alan's Blake vision and stuff. Um, but yeah, this book is kind of sad, and the thing is, I kind of want to read the continuation, and I have that at home, even though the library texted me and they want it back. So I have to check if I can keep it. It's Big Sur, but the problem is, I don't know, like I'm already kind of like of this book, but maybe actually I'm gonna read the Japanese book first. I'm gonna read because when I was reading Murakami, this British dude asked me for a cigarette, and I gave it to him, and he said, "Oh, you like Murakami? You know, who you should read, Hiding Karakami, because she's like really." Like you probably like her because if you like Murakami and stuff. And now I also went to that thing about the Japanese literature, so I actually got the book. My grandma bought it for me there, and the translator like signed it. So I'm looking forward to reading that. So I think I'm gonna read that. It's pretty short too, and yeah, and then I'm pretty sure, yeah, I'm just gonna jump into Big Sur because like this book made me really excited about Big Sur, even though like it may be both, because it's like, oh wow, damn, I miss Kerouac, I want to read more. At the same time, this book it wasn't my favorite. Like I wouldn't recommend anyone read this, especially not like if they haven't read anything else by Kerouac. This is the book I dislike the most of everything I've read from him. I prefer what have I read? Like On the Road, definitely way better. And actually, I don't have time to remember. But basically, I didn't like this book. But also, I really did like this book. It's just don't start with this one unless you really like reading books in form of poetry, and also like if you like short stories and poems. Because I don't know if I'm that much of a fan of short stories and poems. But even then, I feel like the characters are just too many, and like it's just like, oh, suddenly we're meeting like Cody and like Bill Hubbard, and there's like and they return, and I mean there's not that many characters, but still I feel like unless you're very interested in the Beat generation already, I wouldn't recommend reading this. I wouldn't recommend starting with this. If you, I mean, we talk about Buddhism and stuff, but then if you like Buddhism, read the Dharma Bums. If you like poems, also in the Dharma Bums there's like some really nice passages, and like I don't know, yeah. So I would I didn't really like the Dharma Bums either, but I would recommend that instead of this one, because it's just, and if you want to read like, because it kind of is, I feel like it's a mix of Dharma Bums and not Maggie Cassidy, but the Subterraneans, where it's like, oh, these cool guys, but also they're old, and he's old. It's like in like 1957. He's like, oh, I'm old now, and I hate myself even more so than I used to, because now I'm also old, and like life is terrible, and it's a really downer of a book. It's and maybe some people like that, but I didn't. Anyway, that's my feelings, and I have to go right now.